Thanks for tuning in again, guys, to the Clean Cuisine. Today we are going to do a sausage sweet potato apple skillet. It is delicious because it's both sweet and savory. It plays on that, and anyway, it's a big favorite in our house. So I'm starting with 3 fairly large sweet potatoes, and I've got 3 apples as well. You could use any kind of apple. I really like a sweet, crisp apple in this particular dish, so I've got Honeycrisp. If you want to use Granny Smith, that's completely up to you. I think it might be just a little too tart, but to each his own. For a time saver, I'm actually going to use Trader Joe's spicy Italian chicken sausage. Now, my kids aren't crazy spice fans. They will eat some, but you know, I'm a little tired of the garlic herb right now, so I'm just going to throw this in there. Hopefully they'll eat it. And then I love to use fresh herbs whenever possible. I think not only does it add this beautiful color to your dish, but it adds this freshness. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It makes your food taste cleaner, and I love it. And then because we've got so much flavor with the apples, the sweet potatoes, and the sausage already, the spices are going to be pretty minimal. I just got some salt and pepper and a little bit of paprika to add some color. So that's pretty much it. So I've got a saucepan that is warming up on a medium heat right now, because what we're going to do is we're going to start with just kind of sauteing and softening our sweet potatoes. And all I do there is I kind of cut them. Again, you want to kind of work on uniformity. Sweet potatoes can be tough, so make sure you've got a nice sharp knife. But you want them to be as uniform as possible. And you can cut them into any size you want, but again, between the apples and the sweet potatoes, try to make them relatively the same size. And I like mine a little bit smaller chunks. I also think it helps the sweet potatoes cook a lot faster. And a tip for that too, if you're kind of in a crunch for time and you don't want to sit there and wait for the sweet potatoes to soften in the pan, I'd recommend cutting them up and then throw them in a plastic microwavable bowl or dish or glass dish, and then just nuking them for a few minutes just to get the kind of process going. They'll start to soften up, and then they'll cook that much faster in your pan. So I'm just going to finish chopping these up, and then we'll move the sweet potatoes over to the pan while we finish cutting up our apples and our sausage. Okay, so my pan is heating. It's getting pretty hot now. It's over medium heat. I'm just going to go ahead and add a little drizzle of olive oil. You can also do or clarified butter. I'll probably add a little bit of that later on with the apples. I'm going to add just a couple tablespoons to my pan. And then, now that I've got my sweet potatoes all chopped up, beautiful, 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 as uniform as I could possibly get them, I'm going to go ahead and add them into the pan. This is another great one-pot meal. Everything comes together in one pot, minimal cleanup. And as a side note, I do not often trim or peel the skin off of my potatoes, whether I'm dealing with sweet potatoes or regular potatoes. I don't think it's necessary. I think the only case that I actually peel them is if I'm making mashed sweet potatoes, and that's the one time that I don't want the skin. But leave it on. It's going to save you a ton of time, and it's got great nutrients and flavor. So I'm going to leave these go. I'm just going to move them around just a little bit. Make sure they get a little bit coated with oil. And then I'm going to put the lid on because this will help the cooking process go a little bit faster. It's going to help steam them, and it'll trap that moisture, and they'll just soften up that much faster. So leave those hang out. Let's go chop our apples. All right, we're moving on to our apples. This, as far as the sweet potatoes are concerned, another great alternative if you like butternut squash, which I will be making later this week. That's another great alternative to the sweet potatoes in this dish. I don't think I've tried it with any other fruit now that I think about it, but apples are just great with cooking. And not too far off, I will have a video up on this. I mean, I couldn't believe the flavor. It's an apple butter or applesauce, whatever you want to call it, but it is just apples in your crock pot with some spices. And believe it or not, I left the skin on too because it gets so soft. I just hit it with an immersion blender at the end and you would never know the skin was in there. But so easy, so easy. That's what this channel's all about, guys. I just want to, you know, let people know that you do not have to spend hours in the kitchen to cook healthy dishes for your family. I know a lot of people are just kind of overwhelmed or just uncomfortable in the kitchen. Well, my hope is to help those people out and get them cooking again. So make sure to give it a thumbs up if you like and subscribe if you want to see more dishes that will allow you to do that. So I've got my nice crisp sweet honey crisp apples that I'm chopping up about the same bite-sized pieces as my sweet potatoes. And I am going to let my sweet potatoes go. I'm not going to add these until my sweet potatoes are just about where I want them because those do not take long at all. So now we're just going to open up our sausages. These are pre-cooked. So again, these will go in last. You just want to kind of give them some color and saute it just a little bit. So I'm going to chop these up as well. Okay, so we are back at the sweet potatoes, and this is looking nice. This is what you want to look for. There should be some crust on the outside of the sweet potatoes. Now, dare I say, this may have gone a little bit long on my end. I had a baby who was not happy, so probably could have stirred them a time or two, but to be honest, I love that crispy, kind of crunchy, almost burntness to it, so, but that's what you're looking for. You want it to get a little crusty, and you want to taste it, you want it, perfect, to be just about the softness that you would like when you're going to eat them. Because they are going to cook just a little bit more, but not too much. So get it just about right. And then we're going to go ahead and add in our apples and our sausage. I just cut the sausage on a bias, which is a fancy word for diagonal, because I think it looks pretty. And I'm going to add this all in and just let everything kind of warm up, caramelize together a little bit with those apples. Season it with a little salt and pepper, add my fresh herbs, and you're done. So I'm going to mix this all together here. I will not put the lid back on because I really don't want the potatoes to steam anymore. I really just want everything to kind of warm up. And if you prefer your sausage to be kind of crispy and caramelized too, you could even cut that first and add that in before you even add in the sweet potatoes. That adds a nice flavor too. So, all right, so I'm just going to keep an eye on this and kind of keep stirring it for the next 10 minutes or so, and then we'll add in our seasoning. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes, and you can see everything's caramelizing nicely. The apples are really nice and still a little crisp to them, but they've softened up. They've kind of married with all the flavors of the sweet potato and the spicy sausage, which is a nice contrast to the sweetness of the dish. Really good. Now at this point, I would highly recommend you taste. Mine right now, I'm not going to add any salt or pepper, but I will add the fresh parsley and kind of stir that up. And then I'll just do salt and pepper to taste after we serve it. But there you go, guys. A quick weeknight meal. Comes together in less than 30 minutes. Healthy, delicious, satisfying. This will fill you up for sure. And all those good nutrients. Enjoy, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up if you like it.